Guys, it's your boy Treka. I was just doing a live video right now on Facebook talking about the United States bombing Syria twice this week, and in the middle of the live video it got disconnected. It looks like Facebook is allergic to somebody exposing the crimes of Joe Biden. So I'm gonna continue the live video here on Instagram, and I'm gonna explain to you guys what has been happening in Syria this week. So I'm gonna wait a couple of seconds for people to join in the live video so that we can start talking about the situation in Syria. Nola Makeup is saying, hey Treka, hey Nola, how are you? How's everyone doing? Hope you guys are having a nice Friday night or Friday afternoon. Alright guys, so let's just get into it because I need to talk about this. So this week, the United States struck Syria twice. Joe Biden ordered strikes on Syria, and they struck an area called Deir Zor. And this is something that really pisses me off, because the United States, for the past 10 years, they have been doing nothing but funding ISIS in Syria, bombing Syria, implementing economic sanctions on the Syrian people, and starving them to death. And this week, Joe Biden ordered the United States military base to strike Syria twice, and they struck it in an area called Deir Zor. So when the people asked the United States, so why the hell did you strike Syria twice this week? Joe Biden was like, and of course the United States government, they were like, oh, we are doing this to defend ourselves from Iranian militias and so on. First of all, my question is this: how the hell is the United States defending itself when it is illegally occupying Syria? When you're illegally inside a country, you're not someone defending yourself. You're somebody occupying another person's country, and you're striking another person's country. So every single time, especially in the last 4 or 5 years, every single time the United States strikes Syria, they will always use Iran as an excuse, because the majority of the American government. So whenever they know that whenever they're gonna use Iran as an excuse, the American people are gonna be like, oh, okay, so if it had to do with Iran, then we are okay with that. When this is far from the truth. First of all, the United States have been funding and supporting ISIS for the past 10 years. This has happened since Obama was president, since 2011. They wanted to overthrow the Syrian government because the Syrian government isn't a puppet to the West, and they want to put a president just like the Jordanian king or Saudi Arabian king, who is a puppet to America and who say yes anytime they tell him to do anything. And of course the Syrian government is an independent government, and they don't like this. So what did they do? They started funding ISIS, sending them money, sending them weapons so that they can destroy the country, kill the innocent people. And in addition to all of that, the United States started imposing economic sanctions on the Syrian people to starve them to death. All the embassies are closed. Syria is not allowed to import or export. There are many hospitals right now in Syria where the doctors are looking for medicines to treat the sick people in Syria, but because of the economic sanctions that the United States have imposed on Syria, the Syrian government and hospitals are not even allowed to import medicines to treat sick people. But going back to the strike that happened in Deir Zor 2 days ago, this has been happening every couple of weeks. Whenever they see that the Syria is beginning to rebuild itself and the situation is beginning to improve, they would bomb us again to take us back to where we first started. And every single time they will bomb Syria, they're always going to use Iran as an excuse. So my message to the American government is this: if Iran is such a big problem to you, why the hell don't you strike Iran in Iran? Why are you always striking Syria and using Iran as an excuse? Why? And they always say that, oh, we are there and we are defending ourselves. You guys are not defending yourself in a country that you are occupying. Now in Syria we have many military armies. In Syria we have the Russian army, we have the Iranian army, we have the Turkish army, we have the United States army. But I'm gonna tell you the difference between the existence of the United States in Syria and Turkey, and Russia and Iran. The difference is that Russia and Iran are legally in Syria. The Syrian government officially invited the Russian and Iranian army to come to Syria to help in the fight against ISIS and Al-Qaeda, the terrorist jihadist groups that Obama and Joe Biden funded and supported since 2011. But on the other hand, you have the Turkish army and the American army who are illegally in Syria, and there are many proofs that for the past 10 to 11 years they've been doing nothing but funding and supporting ISIS. There are many areas where the Syrian army were able to liberate these areas from ISIS and Al-Qaeda, and whenever they used to liberate these areas they would always find American weapons. How the hell are these American weapons entering the country? Because the Syrian government doesn't have any American weapons. The Syrian government buys all their weapons from Russia. So how the hell are these ISIS and Al-Qaeda jihadist terrorist groups getting hold of these American weapons? America has been sending them, and this has been proven. Even when Donald Trump became president, he even stopped a CIA program that the Obama and Joe Biden started, that was a program used to train and fund ISIS and Al-Qaeda fighters. They were providing them with money, they were providing them with logistical support, they were providing them with weapons so that they can divide and destroy Syria. And Syria has already been destroyed. Syria has already been destroyed. If you go to Syria now, it's destroyed. And in addition to that, it's not like they only destroyed it and caused thousands and thousands of deaths and millions of refugees to run away from their country. In addition to all of that, they're still bombing Syria. They're still bombing Syria. My question to the United States is, what the hell are you guys doing in Syria? When you ask the United States government, like, what the hell are you guys doing in Syria? They'll be like, oh, we are there to defend the women and the children and the people of Syria and so on, which is a complete lie. How the hell are you helping and defending the Syrian people when you are bombing them on a daily basis? And if you really care about the Syrian people, why are you imposing economic sanctions on the Syrian people? They'll tell you, oh, these economic sanctions were putting them on the Syrian government. That's also a bullshit lie, because these economic sanctions are only hurting the Syrian people. It's the Syrian people that are sitting without electricity every day. It's the Syrian people that are sitting without jobs. They're not able to even travel out of Syria. They're not even able to escape the war zone because America ordered all their puppets, NATO countries, to close all the embassies in Syria. So if, let's say, there's a Syrian that wants to travel and run away from the war, he can't even run away legally because all the embassies are closed in Syria. The only way for him to run away is to cross the border illegally. And then when they do that, they'll start complaining, oh, these Syrian refugees, they're entering our country illegally. They try to enter your country illegally, but your government closed all the embassies. It's not allowed. It's not allowed for any embassy, any Western embassy, to be open in Syria. It's not allowed for any Western business to be open in Syria because of the economic sanctions. So in addition to having economic sanctions, you have the American military bases bombing Syria, killing innocent people, and stealing our oil and gas. Now, if you go to Google and type, where are all the American military bases located in Syria, you would find that all the areas that the American military bases are located in Syria are areas rich in oil and rich in gas. So let us not lie to each other and say, oh, Joe Biden is in Syria right now because he's trying to protect the Syrian people and he loves them. No, they are there to destroy Syria, to divide Syria, and to steal our oil and gas. That's why they are there. And every single time they will come up with a stupid lie and a stupid excuse, just like they did with Iraq. You remember the whole lie of, oh, Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction, that the United States Army entered Iraq. They destroyed the living shit out of Iraq. They stole their oil, their gas, their gold. They even killed their president until today. This was back in 2003. We are in 2022 and America is still in Iraq. What the fuck are you still doing in Iraq? And even people were asking, like, okay, so you went to Iraq for the weapons of mass destruction. Where are all of these weapons of mass destruction that you sent our children to go there and die because of? And they were like, oh, it turned out that he didn't have weapons of mass destruction. It was a mistake and whatever. What kind of mistake is that? Millions of Iraqi people died. Millions of Iraqi refugees. Their oil got stolen. Their gold got stolen. Their economy got destroyed. Iraq till today hasn't yet recovered from the destruction that the United States military has caused to that country. Till today, they still haven't recovered. What about Libya? What about Libya? When the United States, when Obama and Joe Biden decided to attack Libya, did you know that Libya was one of the safest and richest countries in Africa? Libya was one of the safest and richest countries in Africa. When Obama and Joe Biden decided to attack Libya, of course they killed Gaddafi, the president, and they caused a huge terrorism problem that till today Libya hasn't recovered from. They started having slave trades in Libya because of the policies of Hillary Clinton, Obama, and Joe Biden. So this is my question. Till when are the American people going to stay, asleep? Like, when are they going to wake up to the lies that the government keeps on telling them? Because I have a lot of American followers and a lot of American supporters. The majority of the American people are against war. They're against the idea of their country, invading another country, whether it's in the Middle East or in Africa or whatever. When you speak to the American people, they tell you, we don't want to go to war. We have nothing to do with like the Middle East or Africa or whatever. But the problem is that also the American people are not standing up against the government and making it clear to them that, we have huge problems happening in America right now. We have inflation, we have problems in the education system, in healthcare. The border crisis is a circus. People are entering anyhow to the country. You guys have a lot of problems that need to be solved in the United States. So instead of the United States government to put all their energy and money to solve the problems that are happening inside America, they're busy throwing bombs and killing innocent people in the Middle East. So my question is, when is all these criminal acts going to stop? Till when are we going to stay silent, It's a fact. Like, all of this stuff that I am telling you, they're factual. You can just go to Google and you can see them. And that's one of the main reasons why I always keep on exposing Joe Biden and insulting him and criticizing him. People think, I only do that because, it's like as if me and him were dating and now we broke up, so I'm just talking shit about him. No, Joe Biden played a very, very huge role in destroying my country, because the war in Syria started in 2011. In 2011, who was the president of America? It was Obama. Who was his vice president? Joe Biden. What did they do? They started funding ISIS, sending terrorist groups from all over the world to Syria to fight in Syria, to fight and kill the Syrian people, the Syrian army. They were bombing churches, they were bombing mosques, they were bombing schools, they were killing innocent people that had nothing to do with politics. How many people in Syria today have died because of the destructive foreign policy of the United States? So this is my question, till when is this going to happen? And this week, they bombed Syria twice again. And when you ask them, why did you bomb Syria? They were like, we were defending ourselves. You guys are not defending yourself when you are illegally occupying someone else's country. Think of it this way. Imagine if, let's say, Syria, my country, put a military base in the United States. Wouldn't the United States start attacking the Syrian military base? Of course, because we occupied your land by force, illegally. We are killing your own people. We are stealing your oil. We are stealing your gas. So logically speaking, the American people are going to stand up against the occupier. So this is exactly what is happening also in Syria. When the Syrian people see a foreign country illegally in the country destroying and throwing bombs and killing innocent people, what do you expect us to do? Like, what do you really expect the Syrian people to do? To smile and sing a Beatles song and all you need is love? It's crazy, guys. A lot of people are not even aware that this thing is happening right now, because now whenever you go on the internet and you look at what people are talking about, today everybody's just talking about, Leonardo DiCaprio broke up with his 25-year-old girlfriend, like as if anybody gives a flying fuck about Leonardo DiCaprio's love life. People are dying, people are suffering, people are their homes are getting destroyed because of these destructive foreign policies. So it's time that we all, as this new generation, it's time that we all stand up against the atrocities that all of these governments are doing. I mean, guys, when you think of it, we are all human beings living on this earth for a temporary time. We're all going to die at the end of the day. So like, why don't we just live on this earth peacefully, coexisting? And of course, everyone is different. Everyone has his own experiences, has his own beliefs, but we can all coexist. Why use violence and kill and destroy and throw bombs and implement economic sanctions? Like, you guys don't even know how brutal the economic sanctions are. Like, I lived in Syria and I suffered a lot because of the economic sanctions and because of the war. Do you think it is nice living in a war zone where your life is constantly in danger, constantly on a daily basis? If you want to go to work to make some money so that you can feed your family, you're always walking on the street afraid that in any moment a bomb might fall. In any moment a bomb might fall. And look at the people that Joe Biden and Obama were funding. They were funding ISIS and Al-Qaeda. And whenever you talk to them, like, why are you funding like terrorist, jihadist, extremist groups that are beheading and killing, people? They'll be like, no, these people are not jihadists. These people are freedom fighters. They're freedom fighters. Can you imagine they're calling people like ISIS and Al-Qaeda freedom fighters when they have no clue what freedom really is? If you look at the atrocities that ISIS and Al-Qaeda did in Syria, there are many examples. They went to an ancient Christian town called Malula. And what did they do? They started burning all the churches, killing and beheading Christians that were worshipping God in the church. Why? Because they should be Muslims just like us. And even them, they don't even understand what Islam is, because they're even destroying the image of Islam by all of this killing and beheading and ignorance that they're doing. You think the Syrian people want ISIS and Al-Qaeda to take over? If ISIS and Al-Qaeda take over, we will become an ignorant country, just like Saudi Arabia, where women are forced to wear to cover their body, and atheists and homosexuals will be killed in the street because they are considered sinners. You think this is what the Syrian people want? Of course, the Syrian government isn't perfect. They have a lot of problems and a lot of issues. But at least under the Syrian government, every single ethnicities and every single religious group have equal rights and they're protected. And women have equal rights in Syria. And women are able to work in government, in any place they want to work. Women are allowed to do whatever they want. They're allowed to wear whatever they want, dress whatever they want. No one in Syria has the right to tell them what to do or what to say or wear. But if ISIS and Al-Qaeda take over, do you think Syria will remain like this? Syria will become just like what happened to Iraq, and just like what happened to Afghanistan, and what happened to Libya. Do you think this is the future we Syrians want for our country? No. So guys, please, I am doing this video to educate you guys and tell you what the mainstream media is not reporting about. Because this week, like I said, Syria got bombed twice, and I've been looking at Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. No one is even talking about it. No one. Like, even when BBC spoke about it, they spoke about it for like 3 minutes, and then they started talking about another topic. They don't want you guys to be educated about what is going on. They would rather have you guys divided and fighting over silly issues, and not talk about issues where human beings are being killed on a daily basis for. So anyway, this is what has been happening, and I will keep you guys updated whenever something new happens in my country, Syria. I'll update you guys. But it's time that we all woke up and we all stood together against all of these destructive foreign policies that these corrupt politicians have been doing, because millions of people are dying and millions of people are suffering because of their stupid foreign policy. And it's time we all stand up and talk about things that matter, and not just talk about Leonardo DiCaprio breaking up with his girlfriend and Kim Kardashian breaking up with Pete Davidson. Nobody gives a flying fuck about these Hollywood celebrities, because at the end of the day, these Hollywood celebrities are not going to be able to change the world in a positive way. All they care about is to do the stupid movies and do the stupid drama on Instagram. People are dying, and this is what we really need to be talking about. If anybody has any question, please feel free to, write in the comment section so that I can answer. Because after like a couple of minutes, I have to go because I have to go to work. Oh God, it's fucking crazy, guys. It's fucking crazy. Till when is this going to continue? Like 11 years of war. Imagine living in a war zone for 11 years of your life on a daily basis. It's like nobody can really explain the suffering that the Syrian people have been going through. And nobody really cares. Nobody really cares. Vernon is saying, bless you, Treka, stay safe, buddy. Thank you so much, Vernon. Rob is saying, most people here couldn't pick Ukraine on a map. Yeah, I totally understand. I totally believe you. Ben is saying, what do you do for work? I do social media management. Like I'm managing a couple of places where I'm managing their social media page, content creation, graphic design, video editing, stuff like that. Vernon is saying, God bless you, Treka, stay safe, buddy. Thank you, Vernon. I really, really appreciate it. Well, yeah, guys, I mean, at the end of the day, it's also like the American people, the American government is sending American people to the Middle East to fight and die for something that has nothing to do with America's security. So it's like, how the hell is Syria a threat to the United States when the United States is way back there in the West and Syria is in the Middle East? Like, Syria doesn't even have any rockets that can reach the United States. So whenever they come out and they say, oh, we are doing this to protect ourselves, it's a fucking lie. You guys are there to steal the oil, to steal our natural resources, and overthrow the Syrian government and implement a puppet government that will just tell you yes sir and follow all the orders that you guys do. Because also, don't forget, Syria was against the gas pipeline that America wanted to implement in Syria. There was a gas pipeline deal that was going to come from Qatar to and going to pass through Syria, through the West. This is going to make America trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. And when they proposed that idea to the Syrian government told them no, because it has the right to say no. The Syrian government told them, we have another deal that we're gonna do with Iran and Russia, and this is the gas pipeline deal that we want to do. America didn't like that idea. How is Russia going to make trillions? No, it is us that have to make trillions on top of the shoulders of the Syrian people. So what did they start doing? Started bombing Syria, started sending terrorists to Syria, started implementing economic sanctions on Syria. Until today, they are still illegally in Syria, occupying Syrian lands and killing Syrian people. I mean, it is... The reason I know all of this is because I lived in Syria. I just came to Nigeria 10 months ago. So I know all of this stuff because I lived through the war for 10 years, and I suffered, and I saw my people suffering, and I saw my people dying, and I have friends that got killed by ISIS because of the funding and support that America was giving them. And it's crazy, guys. It's really crazy. And if no one stands up and speaks against all of this stuff, the mainstream media is not going to talk about it. The mainstream media would rather talk about silly and stupid stuff that don't matter, rather than talking about the atrocities and war crimes that their country is doing. Look at Iraq. It's completely destroyed. Look at Libya. Completely destroyed. Look at what happened to Afghanistan. I mean, think of it this way. Joe Biden became president, and in the first month of his presidency, he dropped bombs and rockets on Syria. And after 3.5 months, what did he do? He pulled out all US troops from Afghanistan, causing the Taliban to take over. Is this someone that is smart, or is this just a criminal, evil person? You think the United States didn't know that if they pulled out all US troops from Afghanistan, that the Taliban weren't going to take over? Do you think that's stupid? They're not stupid. They knew exactly what they were doing. They pulled out all US troops from Afghanistan. The next thing that happened was the Taliban took over of the airport and the whole thing, and now you have a huge refugee crisis in Afghanistan, because of course nobody wants to live under the control of Islamic extremist jihadist terrorist groups. Nobody in this world with his right mind will want to live under the control of Taliban or Al-Qaeda or ISIS, because anyone that lived in areas where they were under the control knows exactly what they do and knows exactly how brutal they are and how close-minded and ignorant they are. If they see a woman walking in the street without covering her face, they'll kill her. If they see someone that is an atheist or a homosexual, they will behead him in public. If they see someone who is a Muslim but decided to become an atheist, you know, they would kill him. This has happened in Syria, and I have seen it because I lived in an area where ISIS and Al-Qaeda were in control, and I was so lucky. I was so lucky that I was able to find a way to escape, me and my family, from that fucking area. So when the United States government tell you, oh, we are there in Syria to protect the children and to protect the women, it's all fucking bullshit. They're there to divide and destroy the country so that they will be able to overthrow the government, and at the same time to steal the oil and steal the gas and make millions out of, you know, resources that don't even fucking belong to them, belong to the Syrian people. Can you guys imagine if, let's say today, the United States withdrew and left Syria completely, and then the Syrian government got control of our oil fields and gas fields? We would be able to rebuild our economy. We would be able to rebuild our country, because you know how much money any government will make from oil and gas. So that's why they're not giving it to us. They're staying in control of all of these areas. Why the hell isn't the United States in the city of Idlib? Idlib is a city today under the control of ISIS and Al-Qaeda. Why haven't you ever heard in your life that the United States struck Idlib? Why is it only striking Syrian military bases that the Syrian government uses to attack ISIS and Al-Qaeda? Give me a good reason. The reason is they don't want the war to end in Syria. They don't want ISIS and Al-Qaeda to be defeated. Because if ISIS and Al-Qaeda today got defeated in Syria, America doesn't have any more excuse to why they are still there. Like, you would be telling them, okay, you are lying, you lied and you said you are in Syria to fight ISIS and Al-Qaeda. Okay, ISIS and Al-Qaeda is now defeated. No more ISIS, no more Al-Qaeda in Syria. What the fuck are you still doing in Syria? They will not have any excuse. So that is what they are doing. They are protecting these people so that they can stay in Syria as long as they can and steal as much oil and gas and sell it in the black market and make trillions of dollars. Trillions, guys, trillions of dollars. They did it in Iraq, they did it in Afghanistan, they did it in Libya, and they are doing it in Syria. And tomorrow, if they find a way to conquer and invade Iran, they will do it in Iran. They will do it everywhere. They don't give a flying fuck. They have no... Listen, in politics, one of the first things for you, in order for you to become a politician, the first thing you have to do is remove the humanity from your heart, because a lot of blood is going to be on your hand. And if you have humanity in your heart, you would never agree to commit these crimes and atrocities in other people's countries. But somebody like Joe fucking Biden and Obama and all of these fucking bastards that are in control right now, these people, they don't have humanity in their heart. They don't care. They don't care about people. They don't care about innocent people dying. They don't care about any of this shit. All they care about is their interest. How are they going to gain more power? How are they going to gain more money? And that's it. That's it. It has to take people like me and people like all of these, you know, truth tellers on social media to come out and talk about stuff that the mainstream media is not talking about. Go today to CNN. Go today to CNN. Try and find any fucking body in CNN talking about the United States striking Syria. You will not see. You see them talking about rubbish. They'll be talking about stuff that happened 3 years. Oh, did you remember when Donald Trump said this and when Donald Trump said that? Who the fuck is talking about Donald Trump anymore? The guy is not president anymore. We are in 2022. Let us talk about things that are happening now. They're obsessed with Donald Trump. They are obsessed with him. It's like he fucked all the girlfriends. I don't know why they are still talking about Donald Trump now when we are in 2022 and we need to be talking about stuff that are happening today. It's just crazy. We live in an evil world, and it takes truth tellers to stand up against these fucking retards. Anyway, guys, I have to go because I have work and I need to do a couple of stuff. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure to share this video. Let us, you know, spread the truth as much as we can, because if you're gonna expect the mainstream media to be talking about this stuff, you're wasting your time. They'll talk about Kim Kardashian breaking up with Pete Davidson and Leonardo DiCaprio breaking up with his 25-year-old girlfriend. Like, who gives a flying fuck? Who cares about this rubbish? No one. Anyway, guys, Love you all. Thank you always for the support. I really, really appreciate it. I'm sorry if I was, emotional or stuff, but I mean, put yourself in my position. You're hearing that your country is getting destroyed and bombed, and your people are dying and suffering. Like, what do you really expect my feelings to be? I'm not going to be laughing and cracking jokes. I'm really pissed off because this has been happening for 11 years, and it's not funny at all. It's not funny. Anyway, guys, Irene is saying love you too, Irene. Ron is saying perfect. Thank you so much. I hope you were talking about my perfect hairiness. And see you guys. Bye.